Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to One Nation Radio. We're going to start with me and Rich talking about the tragic death of Kobe Bryant. I don't even know where to begin. Rich is the diehard Lakers fan, diehard Kobe fan, so I think it's appropriate that he starts.
Man, I've never had a death affect me like this. I've been fortunate enough to not have a lot of death surround me, family wise, and if it was someone like my grandfather who got to be 75 years old. It was my great grandmother who was an 84-year-old woman, and aside from that, I've luckily been kind of shielded from that kind of stuff. But Kobe Bryant was a hero of mine, and I've been ever since the slam dunk contest in 1997, I've been hardcore on this, Kobe Bryant, before I was even a Laker fan, which would, come 2 years later when they got swept by the Spurs. I always rooted for Kobe because it felt like, as I was a young kid, I saw a young kid going into the league. I was like 7 or 8 years old. Like, yo, he's young, I'm young, whatever. And I love, his tenacity, love, just everything about him. And it, see him blossom into an all-star when his coach was hating on him and coming off the bench, and everything that he did as far as his work ethic and the Mamba mentality. And I rooted for this guy because it was like, I felt like we had to kind of protect him, and it was a sense of we had to protect him from people that were like, you'll never be Michael Jordan, and then he finally eventually climbs the mountain, like you'll never be better than, you'll never win a title by yourself, you'll never win without Shaq, you're this number 2 guy, you're this secondary dude. And then when he rises up the mountain and he goes through the situation in Colorado, and he's best player in the league status, and then LeBron comes along, and it's like I felt like and a lot of people that were fans of Kobe, like it was like, okay, now it was like they were trying to erase him and just throw him out the way. And I rooted for him harder and rooted for him to not only win but stick it to people, but to he just had that much of a grip on not only like Laker fans everywhere, the city of Los Angeles. I lived in California for a year and a half span of my life, and his death is just, I can imagine what it's doing to that region of the country right now. Ice Cube was on and saying, the power that Kobe and the Lakers have is like, it makes the games come together out there. I was sleeping yesterday. I've been a little under the weather. And I rolled over and saw the thing on Twitter was Ebro from Hot 97 sending out the TMZ link. Kobe Bryant dead at age 41. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, hell no, this ain't right. This is bullshit. And I send, it over to my group chat with, all my closest homeboys, and everyone knows that, I'm just the biggest Kobe fan. Like, I can tell you all his stats, tell you everything you want to know about him. And it's almost like he kind of is getting the love right now that, I feel like that everyone that was like the hardcore Kobe fans, how we all saw him is how the world is like getting that story now that he's no longer with us. And I kind of lost my frame of reference, but just to see him play 20 years and be the man in that city, and do everything and inspire us all, like, and see him take that, people like trying to erase his legacy, all the stuff, the the bad stuff that's the way people have treated him ever since he tore his Achilles, and then he was never the same, and just the airbrushing of what he was. But I feel like through all that, the players that he influences, you can see it all now. Everybody's a Kobe guy, and Kobe was more than a basketball player for me. He was a hero. He was an idol. He was someone to look up to. He was the premier athlete of my life, and after 2016, I've never had quite the same love for watching NBA basketball as I did before that. When he scored 60, I cried because I, knew it was over. It was done, and I just hope people would remember him how I saw him. But seeing, him die yesterday, like, you never expect that, man. Like, it's just like I sent out all my homeboys. I start screaming and crying. And yesterday, I spent the day like crying on and off for 2 or 3 hours at a time. I cried for like 15 minutes. I sit and chill for a little bit, and I'd watch more videos. And originally, I was like, I'm not gonna essentially grief porn myself to death, but I couldn't fall asleep till like 3 a.m. yesterday. Mind you, I've been sick, so I've been feeling horrible too. And I watched every reaction. I was watching playoff games yesterday. I was watching Game 4 of the 2001 Western Conference semifinals. I was watching Game 4 of the 2000 NBA Finals. I was watching Game 1 of the 2002 Western Conference. Game 1, 2002 Western Conference semifinals, West Conference Finals. I watched Game 5 of the 2010 NBA Finals, and they lost that game. But I remember Kobe just going so all the time out there.
Is that the third quarter game?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to start picking off little moments that, that the average sports fan reel off. Game 7 is a big game. Him and Shaq come together to beat the Blazers. Alley-oop, different stuff like that. But
they were down 20 at half or in the third quarter.
They were down 19 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But I watched so much Kobe, on K-Cal 9 when I lived in California, Chick Hearn, and it was like I knew about these other games, and that's where I, just formed my love for Kobe Bryant. And there was never going to be another athlete like him, and there never will be. But I rode for him hard for all these years. I don't see how that's going to stop now. It may get worse than ever, but I don't know. I feel like the world finally understands why we love this guy so much.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of my first memories of Kobe. It's probably dunk contest. No, I'll take that back. You first hear about this kid. He's a guard. Coming out of high school. I think he's like the first guard to ever come out of high school. And you're like, okay, there's somebody that's there to take the mantle or the throne or whatever. You hear all the people, Grant Hill, Harold Miner, Vince Carter, what have you, Jerry Stackhouse. And at the time I'm a kid, I'm 9, 8, and you see the promise in somebody. And you see them rise. Fuck. And you see them take on this challenge that's just like fucking insurmountable. And he, like, reaches expectations. And, like, he becomes this young, sensational talent. And, like, he succeeds early on. And he's so advanced for his age. And, you know, for your limited scope of a frame of reference, because you know what you've seen in your age, he's the best you ever seen at these benchmarks of 19, 20, 21, you know, and then like 20 and 21, he's winning the finals, and he's kicking all kinds of ass. Like Rich mentioned, game 4 of the West Conference Finals in 2001. Like the Spurs won. They were champions 2 years ago. They come out there and they sweep them, they kick their ass. And like one of my first young Kobe moments is like remembering him like closing out that game, and he's like shooting from 35. He's like shooting from like nearly 35 feet.
He's throwing it down on Duncan and Robinson with the left hand.
Right.
He's abusing any guard they put in front of him. And it's in the Alamo Dome. So it's like this arena that doesn't exist anymore, essentially, for basketball. And I was watching those games, and it was just like, it put me right back to watching it.
Yeah, and it's like one of those moments where like you go from there and you go through, you know, the success, and then you go through, you know, that rise, and then you see, you know, things don't work out, and then like then there's as you go older with a figure or whatever else, in that figure's not, you know, you bought into all the hype, and then like it's some of it is like you realize that you bought into the hype, and like this person's actually a person, and they have flaws, and you start to recognize that stuff as you grow, and then like, but you spend so much time with this figure that like you identify with it. And it's not like you don't see, you know, some of the things that happen like interpersonally or whatever else with this person of is this person perfect? No, but this person is inspirational. This is something that is a motivator in your life. Like, I turned 32 in November, and you know, it's a typical thing in life. And like, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? What do you want to do to be happy for the rest of your life? And so many people, you know, go through life never figuring that out. And to see some 17-year-old, 16-year-old knows what he wants, goes through all of it, all the heartache, all of the success, all of the ups, the downs, the being the hero, being the villain, being, you know, to go through all that, and then come out on the other end and he won. Like, he's one of the greatest winners in the history of this, you know, for the most part, worldwide sport. With, you know, anyone has almost a level of access to this sport. And for him to rise and become like one of the, you know, 5 greatest basketball players I've ever seen in my life. Like, that's what he rose from just being this fucking kid. Hey, this shit hurts, man.
And then,
like, I spent 20 years watching this fucking guy, and like, like, I've never, like, outside of LeBron, I've never watched anybody else play as much basketball as him. And, like, I remember all these times and places, and, we talk about it, like, I remember January, 2006, just that year, he's on this shitty team, and, like, he has a little bit of help, but the team's not good, and he's just, like, fucking carrying his team, and he just, like, puts all the shit of, like, how shitty the year before was on his back, and, like, he just goes in straight gunner mode, and it's, like, some shit I've never seen before. Like, I mean, James Harden's doing that shit now, but, like, Kobe's out here getting buckets. This is the era when, like,
different.
There's not 13 3-point shots getting taken in a game or whatever Harden's doing right now, but it's like, you see this dude go out here and, like, average 40 for a month, like, average 50 for, like, I don't even know what the game streak was for 50.
Like over 4 games in a row over 50.
Yeah, like, he scored 62 on the fucking NBA finalists in 3 quarters. He scores 81 points. Like, I remember waking up, turning on Sports Center before I got myself ready to go to high school, and, like, just being completely shocked and all that, like, to see 81 and to see the highlight reel of just all the points he scored, and it's in an NBA game, and it's like, I never thought I'd see anyone score 81 points in a game or hear about it. Like, and I remember, like, this is a point where, like, not everybody had cell phones at the time. I was fortunate enough to have one at the time. I had my cousin Alex literally call me before I was walking into my first period class and call me. And I knew what he was calling me for. He was like, yo, Kobe Bryant scored fucking 81 points. I picked the phone and said, yes, I know Kobe scored 80 points. And then we were just like in awe on the phone. And then I just, got off the phone with him and went into class. It's just, I just can't believe this dude is gone. Like,
just never coming back.
We were supposed to see this dude every February at All-Star. Like, rated dunk contest. Like, he's supposed to fill the role of, like, you're supposed to see him every All-Star, every NBA Finals, sitting, courtside, and you're supposed to see him, with his daughters and his family and their age, and, like, life is beautiful. Like, all the work's been done. And, like, to see Jerry West or the idea of, like,
Jerry West was eulogizing him on national TV, and Magic Johnson, I somehow got a live feed of CBS in LA, and Magic Johnson was talking to, I don't know, the anchor person, and he was like, he said, I wasn't supposed to be talking about Kobe.
Right.
Kobe was supposed to be talking about me.
Right. Like, the idea of Jerry West and Kareem and Magic Johnson and Shaq, like, at a funeral, and Bill Russell at a funeral burying 41-year-old Kobe Bryant, it's like that's fucking devastating to me. Like, this wasn't supposed to happen. And, like, people talk about how they grieve and everything, and I'm a person to myself, like, I'm a lone griever. Like, I like to, compartmentalize, do whatever needs to be handled when whatever else, and then, like, handle my own vulnerability on my own. Like, is that healthy? I don't know, and quite frankly, I don't care. But just, like, to get a message, and then, like, get a vague message from somebody, and then, like, to go to Twitter and then to see this and just, like, yell out, what? Like, I'm still in part incredulous. I just can't believe that this happened. Like, this ain't supposed to happen to some super rich dude or some, it's just.
Every time I see, like, the words like death of Kobe Bryant or Kobe Bryant dies at 41 across a ticker or anything like that, it's just like, hold on. It just brings me back to 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. I think that's when I saw it. of he's not here. And he's my favorite athlete. He's, you guys have heard me always refer to the Kobe system, going over the top, shoot the big shot. All this stuff is I really just use Kobe Bryant in video games. They only use Kobe. I remember just a lot of the playoff wars in the Western Conference, the toughest conference, modern conference you'll ever get through, having to go to the finals injured with broken hands, broken fingers on the shooting hands that he's not getting operated on, because then he would have to miss time, to his knees breaking down, to his body just fighting through shoulder injuries, just fighting through and rising past these challenges in the West, the Rockets and the Spurs, Kings, just
2010 when he finally got his revenge on the Suns.
Yep. And I'll never forget back in 2006 when Kobe wouldn't shoot, I was just confused.
Wasn't that the end of 7?
Yeah, that was the end of 7. We were up 3-1 in the series. Yeah. I'm sure we're going to beat these dudes, and I don't know what happens that game, but it just it's crazy. And then I've listened to sports commentators for years, some of them prop them up, others, tear them down. It's always been kind of rough to listen to Bill Simmons, just shit on him every chance he got. But I was a huge fan of Bill Simmons, but I always felt like one day they'll get it one day, and hopefully they do now. But it's the 2009, 2010 teams, for me, they almost mean even more than the Kobe and Shaq teams for me. And it was almost like no one can say you're not the leader now. No one can take these away from you. No one can, say you beat 4 guys that are going to possibly go. You beat God. Well, yeah, you beat a team with 4 all-stars in the lineup. You did it. You beat the Celtics, and you got your revenge on every single team. You represented the country when Team USA was, losing and not figuring it out. The guy, once they brought Kobe in, 2008, gold medal game, all the best players in the world all together. LeBron, Olympic Melo, Wade, bald head, Jason Kidd, Darren Williams, Chris Paul, Dwight Howard, Carlos Boozer, all those guys.
Bosh.
When the game was tight, they all looked at Kobe. And one of the few times I'm not really patriotic about much, right? But USA basketball has always been one thing for me. And then, 2012, he's an elder statesman, and it's rough, man.
Yeah, just to take off from there, it's just the thing for Kobe for me is just always just the motivation to go. You got a direction, you got a path, or find it, go straight through it, attack it. And we were kids, and we always heard about the legendary Jordan stuff, of how hard he worked and what he put into the game to get what he got out of it. And for that kid we talked about to, throw himself that hard into his dreams, and it paid off in that way, and he reaches that point to where he gets back to the mountaintop by himself, not with help, or not with while being the best player on a team, and that means something. And especially after, the Shaq thing blew up in, that 2006 year and so spectacular, 2007 year, he's on a similar path, and you kind of see like that second half in Game 7 where he basically is like, I can't with this fucking team. Like I can try all I want to. My will not overcome what the holes we have on this team. And then the next year for like Andrew Bynum to come through, and then like the Gasol trade to happen, and to see Kobe like get a second chance at being, as great as he was while he still had the time before the time ran out, before he's, 31 and the knees are gone, and he's still he's at tail end of his prime, and for him to go through the West and to climb through there to get to the finals, they lose, that's fine, whatever. Bynum got hurt, and then then to take that into those Olympics that you were talking about, the 08 Olympics, and you have LeBron that just is ascending, and Wade, who's on a warpath to try to prove that he's to try to prove his place in the league after the couple injury years. And for them to all go to Beijing, and like in a way Kobe is like that dude of the drive, and you go to the gym at 5, Kobe's already got up 100 shots. Like, to have that kind of freakish determination to be the best, or to be the very best he can be, whatever that, whether that means he's the best or whatever, I don't know. But for them to come out of that Olympic, that time together, and like for him to lay that and hand that down to the next generation in that spring, and that propels LeBron to where he goes in 2009 and 2010 and the rest of his career, to realize like, oh, that's how hard I have to work. For Dwayne Wade to go, oh, that's how hard I had to work. Like, he made the dudes that looked up to him better in a way that, like, you can't say that for a lot of, regardless of how great or transcendent the talent is. Like, he was so influential in that, and like he made the league better just off the strength of that alone, and he should not be forgotten for that. And it's so crazy that like now, where we are now, like LeBron is now that guy. LeBron is now like the crazy warpath guy, and he got the blueprint from Kobe.
It's crazy how this is all kind of worked out.
Yeah. And like, to take it further, just like,
it's almost like now LeBron has.
It's like the thing, just like what takes on is like the site, or the drive just turns into what is now like Mamba mentality. Like, it's now become iconic and legendary in a way. Like, we have a name for it. We didn't really have a name for it with, when we talked about the Jordan stuff, and we look Kobe, we have it. And like, that lives on forever. But I just still feel weird that like this dude is just gone. That's all I have left on it. But go ahead, Rich. Sorry.
And it's crazy. Like the night before he passed, LeBron passes Kobe in the all-time scoring. Whole time I'm thinking like, man, glad this isn't at Staples, because that reaction when he passed, the last time he passed somebody, I think he passed, was it Jordan last time? It was like kind of mixed and kind of just ho-hum, like, because he's not really ours, like, and it's just it's not going to be. And this is Kobe City, like, regardless. And just seeing how Kobe like has embraced him this year, It's almost like I don't know what Kobe was doing. Like, part of me thinks that he was trying to rehabilitate, some of the image, so, kind of recasting himself in a different light. But regardless of what it was, if you line it up with everything else that he's ever done with LeBron, it seems like these guys have had a genuine relationship for a really long time. And it's people like, Nick Wright and Skip Bayless and a lot of other people putting like a lot of trash out there regarding these two and the fan wars and the narratives and everything like that. And it's quite crazy that his last tweet is praising LeBron and telling him to move the game forward. And what LeBron is doing is trying to make the Lakers a champion again. And it's almost like, win this for Kobe.
Yeah. I think that's where we should leave it. Unless you have anything else?
The whole city wants it. Thank Kobe Bryant for his determination, his will, his basketball skill, his entertainment value, his way that he was a demon in the mid post, the way that he would get ridiculously hot from three. Wasn't the greatest 3-point shooter, but there were times where I never saw Kobe take a shot where I thought he was going to miss, and he missed a lot. But you always felt like the next one was going in. Watching him, you saw him become a master of the post. You saw him carry the Lakers to the playoffs in his last healthy year, and then you saw him cry after he tore his Achilles, and he knew what it was, and walk back on the floor after the Achilles injury, and then come back knowing that he didn't have anything left, but knowing he signed a contract, knowing that the fans just love him so much, and we didn't care if the team was sorry. It was like, just be here for us, because we don't know what it's like without Kobe. And fortunately, it seems like we're gonna have to learn. It sucks, and I just thank him for being a inspiration in my life. And I'm just in devastation still.
Yeah, so I guess from this point we just move on to talk about whatever we normally talk about on this show. So we'll be back in a minute.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Welcome back. I am here with Rich as usual, and I'm also here with Tom Gambardella and also Gregory Rec of Social Suplex as well, contributors. They decided to do some pitch hitting duty and pitch in, help us out. Rich didn't really watch much wrestling this weekend, so we're just going to start with the Royal Rumble. Initial thoughts, Tom?
Honestly, it was definitely exactly the distraction I needed from everything that went on yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
I thought the men's Rumble, I thought while it was going on for that first half, I was ready to just burn everything down, and then that back half just completely redeemed it for me. Like, I think I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? That was actually really good. Like, I liked what they did there. I mean, I think Josh, he said it while it was going on. Like, yeah, they definitely broke from that sort of Rumble formula here. So, I mean, overall, I thought it was a really enjoyable show. Okay.
Greg?
I didn't watch it.
Okay, so I guess we'll throw the Rich now. Rich?
So I was like spoiling myself, just following along the group chat a little bit, in and out of being sick and sleeping and watching all this Kobe coverage and everything like that. When I watched the men's and the women's Rumbles today, like both matches, I thought the women's Rumble was just a good, solid Royal Rumble, and then the men's was like a really good Royal Rumble. And really unique format. I already knew Brock was going to eliminate everybody, so I didn't get that visceral feeling of, oh my God, what the fuck is happening here? But definitely they looked like they actually had a plan, and they still felt like they had to throw Roman Reigns in there to, the final two for whatever reason to scare the hell out of you. But I thought it was a good Rumble, and I didn't expect that because this Rumble didn't really have a ton of buzz or anything.
Right.
Now, as far as Charlotte winning, it's like, I made the joke there. The women's Royal Rumble, this thing didn't exist 3 years ago, so we trying to give Charlotte some of them accolades to put them on now. But, they want to do Becky and Charlotte 9,000, whatever. But men's Royal Rumble was pretty good.
Yeah, my initial thoughts is I don't know if it's a good show or not. Like, I watched so much wrestling over the past weekend, like between 4 episodes of NXT, between last week's Stardom Corkin Hall ninth anniversary show, between Worlds Collide, and then Royal Rumble. I don't know what's up or down. I can tell you what I really liked and what I didn't like. I thought the show, the Rumbles, obviously it's a Royal Rumble, so the only thing that mattered are the Rumbles. I thought the Rumbles were okay. I probably like the men's Rumble more, or I do like the men's Rumble more. I didn't have that. Yeah. I didn't have the visceral reaction that I guess a lot of people had of Brock is throwing all these people out, and he's it turns into a microcosm of his entire career. But it's like I went in there, I already know what it is. Like, the idea is you're going to throw a bunch of people out, someone's going to eliminate them. That's going to be what his next angle is. I am surprised that it's Drew McIntyre, considering that they've done jack shit with Drew McIntyre for the last year and a half. But whatever. They picked a guy, and they put him over huge, and that's really what most of us all want. Pick someone and go with them. Yeah, so from that perspective, I thought they accomplished that, and good job on that. The Charlotte thing, whatever. Like, I really don't want to see her versus Bayley or Becky again, because they've done that before. But we're at a situation where it's like it seemed like it was either her or Shayna. Who knows?
Seems like there were a lot of like plans changing too. So there was reports that Roman and Shayna were initially supposed to win, and then things were changed as the programs were finalized. And I don't know. Charlotte's back in the spot. Maybe they, if Sasha's not injured too badly, seeing people throwing out, a fatal 4-way between the 4 horsewomen at WrestleMania. But I don't think the dynamics are right.
I'm not even going to put myself through the mental exhaustion of trying to figure out the logistics of how they would make that work, because they just make any damn thing work and don't even get damn about how they get there. Hence last year with Becky and Charlotte and Ronda. So, I mean, whatever. Do whatever you want. It's fake. But if it's going to be fake, at least try to make it make some semblance of sense. What are y'all thoughts on that?
I mean, my initial reaction to them doing a fatal 4-way with the 4 horsewomen, at Mania is that it means Lacey Evans probably winds up in a title match on that show. Ooh. And I mean, that's all I really need to say. Like, that's the last thing I want to see. And as good as one match might be, the other one is going to drag it back down to average, if that.
I heard she was horrible last night.
That's a word for it.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because anyone that watched NXT at the time, she's not ready. She's been up on the main roster for a full year, getting more matches under her belt, and she's still not ready because we all thought that she was a couple years away.
Who was the NBA draft prospect that they said was a couple years away from being a couple years away on draft night?
Oh, I don't even remember.
I think it was like Bruno Caboclo.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. That was Lacey Evans in NXT.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, from the group chat and like online, like this was a pretty positive Royal Rumble. Like a lot of people in the group chat liked it.
Yeah.
Online, the only match that I seen get a bad rating was the Lacey Evans match, and like you guys said, she's years away from being ready.
Yeah, it's like I see what they see. Like I see like.
You got to be blind not to see it. Like
right, like she clearly has the look that they want, and they covet. Like just look at like the run of blonde white women that came out in that Rumble.
Just look at her, damn it.
Like I see it, and then like you also see like she ain't afraid to take a bump. Like she has a physicality factor that like. You think like can translate into the future, like as she progresses with the wrestling, like that will help her. So you see like where this is, but it's like you watch the Rumble and you see Bianca in the Rumble, and you're just like, I see what y'all see, but I also saw what y'all have in Bianca, and y'all chose the wrong person. And y'all know y'all chose the wrong person. It is like
it's almost like maybe a year to the day. We had that big long Lacey Evans versus Bianca Belair segment, and I got really emotional about it. Was that like a year ago on this show?
It was around Fastlane. Around Fastlane. Like it was just like It's at least like I have the validation, right? Or a lot of people have the validation for the people that like watch, you know, their network stuff and go through it and be like, no, man, no. So
you guys remember that article about TJP where he's talking about how every single move was planned out, and it was like, you know, rest hold. Now you do this,
right?
Yep.
She's getting. Vince McMahon probably loves what she does, and that's all she's ever going to do is what you're seeing right now. It's never going to change.
Yeah, but like I also need her not to almost kill herself while doing it. Like it's very or it should mean something that like Alexa Bliss started out that Rumble and she didn't fuck up anything. Was she physical? Absolutely not, because she's never physical. But she didn't fuck up anything. That's the other end of it. It's like Alexa Bliss is not physical at all. They picked her before she was ready. She still wrestles these powder puff ass matches, but she doesn't fuck the stuff up. It's just not believable because just like they're not hitting each other, or they're not really, you know, there is no struggle in the wrestling you're seeing. It's too slick. It's just, you know, whatever. And I mean, granted, like if you can do that if you're Saber or whatever else, you're one of these technician dudes, whatever else that makes it look like that's what it's supposed to look like. She's not that kind of person. But the other end
Sabre
of it
Jr.
is
and Alexa Bliss. I was gonna say Zack Sabre Jr. and Alexa Bliss, a comparison I never thought we'd hear. One Nation Radio, unique content.
No, but you get what I'm saying is like you'll hear if I say the part about like the what she does is too effortless, then you'll hear the other end of like, what about these, you know, people that put on like the technical the technical wrestling, the hold masturbation. Yeah. So it's like I got like there's a difference here. Like she's not.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah. So, but anyway, like it's to see her on her end, like her side is like she's not fucking anything up. Like it may not be physical, but at least she's not fucking anything up. She's holding it in the road, and like it took her a while to get to this point. It took 3 years to get to this point, right? And it's like, what was the? I don't see why you needed to do this to these people, and like kind of to a lot of people, like already have like the bloom is off the rose of them because they are aware of whatever gaping holes in this person's game they have. Like, I don't need Ricochet to go out there and cut a promo to further cement that I know that he's not a good promo. Like, you got to figure out a way around that. Like, do pre-tape stuff. We're getting too caught up in the weeds on that, but like, I don't know, like, what were some other impressions you guys had in, I guess, the Rumble matches in particular?
What they did with Riddle was horrific.
Yeah.
He got in.
I hope he requests his release.
He's not gonna get it. He's about to be the new tag team champions. We're done in like a month or whatever. So, any thoughts on any other takeaways that you have, Tom?
I mean, obviously, yeah, what they did with Riddle was horrific. I think, the best way to put it is today we were playing who could you have swapped Riddle with game to have a better showing from him? I mean, even if he got like a minute against Brock, I think we settled with like Morrison. I forget who else, but like that 3, 4, 5 range was just kind of a run of just a guys. So yeah, I mean, Riddle got absolutely tanked in this one. Trying to think of what else. Yeah. I thought Keith Lee had a fantastic showing in a minute. He continued the trend of Brock Lesnar opponents dropping their ring IQ exponentially the second they get into the ring with him.
What happened with him and Brock? I don't even remember. Like, I just remember he got thrown out with Strowman, or they wrestled a stalemate. Strowman came out. They all three of them like all wrestled each other really hard, and then like at the end they both got tossed.
I wish the three of them wrestled each other very hard. I don't know if that would be an accurate description, though.
Okay, all right. Well, re-enlighten me. Sorry.
Basically, what happened? Keith comes in. Brock literally looks over at Heyman. So first, Keith Lee's music hits. They show Brock. Brock's like, "Ooh, a big boy."
Right,
you can read the lips on him. Then Keith makes his way to the ring. He makes his way up the ring steps. He's about to get in, and they cut to Brock. And Brock looks over at Paul Heyman like, "Who is this motherfucker?" So then Keith gets in. Actually, like gets some offense in on Brock. I think he like shoots him off the ropes. They do a shoulder tackle where Brock doesn't go down.
Running Brock. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Like that. So, yeah, then they do the shoulder tackle. They do like a double lariat, and we're both down spot. Braun comes in. Him and Keith, I guess, still have unfinished business from Survivor Series. Braun does that stupid-ass, like, twirl his finger around like he's going to run around the ring, except there's only one other person to hit on the shoulder tackle thing, so he can't do like a full lap. He just does quarter of a lap, knocks Keith Lee in. And then him and Keith keep on brawling while Brock is just standing there with his arms up on the ring ropes in the corner, and Brock dumps both of them out. And I think that was like
back to Brock, like kind
of.
Okay. Didn't they do Kofi pretty dirty again too? Didn't he get like?
Yeah. He was. Yeah.
They did.
Why do they hate this
Black
guy?
Wrestlers dirty.
Yeah,
again.
Okay, so in the beginning when he's just throwing guys out, like he tosses, like he runs Elias. Like, what happened with Elias? It reminds me of like the time my granddad whooped my ass for being disrespectful. Right? Like, I did something disrespectful, and then like he goes to get a switch, and like instead of running out the house, I run into his fucking bedroom like a fucking idiot, and it's like, why would you run into the ring, Elias? Run away!
Yo, when Brock like said "fuck this shit" and like charged him, that was like some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Like, I need a gift for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Brock swung that guitar strings first, which like I've watched enough wrestling to know you're supposed to swing it the other way so it breaks. But I guess Brock was just like, fuck
the
this.
Strings can cut you.
Right.
And that was not a gimmick guitar.
Not at all.
Nope.
That was like one of them Jake Roberts Honky Tonk Man specials right there. We better check Elias ain't on the crack after this.
Oh, man. Yeah, so you have that moment, and then all of a sudden Kofi comes out, and everyone knows like Kofi didn't get his due. He got fucked at the first SmackDown on Fox, and then Ray comes out, and you're like, you remember what just happened at Survivor Series. So it's like, all right, there you go. Then you have Big E, and then it's like, all right, like it turns to a point where it's like, you know, hey man, let's jump him. And then they whooped it. They were on him, and then like he thwarted all of them, and then because they were about to do like almost like the Hardy Boys poetry and motion thing, and then like he cut it off, and then Lesnar jumps off of Big E's back to hit somebody, and he eliminated all three of them. It was funny, but like that was to get you the heat of like to get you into the, and it like that whole run is like Brock Lesnar's match is like. Yes, he's a big fucking shoot fighter guy that is overpushed, and he comes out here and he clobbers the fuck out of somebody until the crowd eventually turns on the match, and then he starts selling. And that's pretty much what happened with you know, and that was the whole entire that run until he got eliminated. It was like, all right, you've overdone it. Get to the fucking point, and then they finally did it.
They're trying really hard though to rewrite history of Kofi though. Like they really want him to just be a tag guy. Like all that build up. They worked really hard to build him up to like Bryan's level. Mm-hmm. And it's just any other company, it's just, I don't know. It's such a weird waste of energy for something so self-destructive for your guys. It's just, it's like the person you don't want to date. You know, like you got to look for these red flags because they're doing all this stuff to hurt themselves when they've done so much to help themselves. You know, you got like, okay, why are they calling this person? I don't know, man. It's just, I see these clips of what they do with Kobe. Like he's coming out as the tag team guy. It's usually it takes a while to go down a level, you know? Right.
Mm-hmm. Like why is he not like, just chasing the mid card?
There's no story of him like losing a step or like getting injured, and like, you know, you could do something with that, but they're just like, no, he's a tag team guy.
Right.
Yeah,
never happened.
He could have fell into a depression. He could have he could have did something like
that. That was the crumbling of the pancake.
Yeah.
It's like
I can say it, like they should have.
All y'all that said Kofi Kingston was going to win the Royal Rumble, I need y'all to bring y'all ass to the stage.
People said that.
Oh yes.
Oh my!
I almost said it because I was like, you know, that would be a good story for him to win, but I was like, it's never going to happen, so I never said it. Right. It wasn't going to happen.
Right. Let's see. Well, any other takeaways from the men's Rumble?
Oh, I mean, fucking Edge is back.
Oh,
I feel like we got to touch on that one. Yeah. I mean, it was "You Think You Know Me" and then a wall of sound from Minute Maid Park.
Yes,
that is where it was. I hope I didn't just pull a wrong arena. All right, yeah, no, wall of sound. Also, quick thing to touch on.
That is exactly where Albert Pujols bounced a baseball off of the wall.
Sent it into orbit.
I'll never forget that shit.
The amount of time I've spent just on YouTube going back to the moment he makes contact with that very ball, it's insane.
2019 World Champions.
Also, just a quick note. Rich mentioned that at one point Shayna and Roman Reigns were supposed to be the winners. As of 2:30 yesterday, the betting odds for this show were Reigns at 1-1 to win the Rumble.
Unbelievable.
Cain Velasquez at 4-1, CM Punk at 9-2, Kevin Owens at 9-2, and then tied at 10-1 were Drew, Keith Lee, Brock, and Bray Wyatt. And then I think within like 2 hours of showtime to the start of the show, ton of money went in on Drew, and he was down to even by the time the show started. So, I mean, it's a late change.
Yeah.
Is he a face or a heel?
Sorry?
McIntyre, is he a face or a heel?
McIntyre is turning into a badass baby face over the last couple weeks or few weeks or whatever. But the thing is, like,
it's out of nowhere almost.
Exactly. It may work, it may not work, but if it does work, what I'm going to say is you look at his resume, and it's not too dissimilar from 2015 Roman Reigns. He's never had a singles feud worth a damn and he's about to be the WrestleMania main event potentially. And
you stole. I was gonna this is white Roman Reigns.
Okay, there you go. Like it's just like they did. And the thing is, like, they did such a good job when he came into the main roster this time around in 2018 until the Dogs of War broke up, and then like that December he started taking pins for no fucking reason. You're like, what the hell is this? And one thing I did not like is the optics of he's now a babyface, and he throws out the dude that he like fought at last WrestleMania because he wanted to say that he was tougher than that dude's cancer. And that rubbed me the wrong way, but whatever. It is what it is. Like, the crowd was happy. I'm sick and tired of them doing this with Roman with the nonsense of we're going to use him to get over the next guy because we know our fan base, or some of our fan base, are assholes and are so definitely afraid of this fucking guy winning a Royal Rumble, as if that means any fucking thing in 2020 anymore. So,
you know what, it's really funny because at this point they've done this like 4 times.
Right. 4-time runner-up.
It's getting to the point where you're conditioning your audience to be like, oh yeah, final 2, it's Roman and whoever.
Right, like I was saying,
all right, he'll go out, and then, oh wait, Roman actually won? What do we do now? Like, if they ever pull the trigger on him winning again, you're just going to have a confused building.
Right, and I remember after the show, because I was with Josh too, quote unquote, Zach and Jamie, and I said I just counted out. 2014, second place. 2015, winner. 2006, third place. 2017, second place. 2018, second place. 2019, away fighting for his life. 2020, second place. How many times? Like, he has, he's had, that 6 top 3 finishes in the last 7 years. Like, he's one of the greatest Royal Rumble participants ever, and it's like, all of it is the same thing, and just the ends is always the same. It's always the same. It's like it's to get the next guy over because you're scared enough that guy going. It's like, hey man, like, y'all wouldn't do this shit with Cena or anybody else. Like, at some point you're gonna have to pull the trigger on him winning a Rumble, and y'all gonna have to stop hiding from it and like using this thing every single year. Like, it's starting to feel a lot like a Shayna Baszler takeover match to me.
I always said with Roman, scary money don't make no money.
Right.
And the thing is, there's still a good chance that he ends up main eventing WrestleMania anyway. So it's like,
good. I don't care. I don't care.
It's like, why don't y'all just fucking let him win the Rumble then? Like, just stop trying to backdoor it. Like,
right. Like, look, it's not gonna be any worse. And it's like, think about it. Is it gonna be any worse than it was in any of the previous years? If you go back to it. Y'all fought the fans tooth and nail for 3 or 4 fucking years anyway. Now y'all Tyler fighting a fight that y'all started.
Can I take my my victory lap for Daniel Bryan?
About, like, he's in the title match to not be in the Rumble.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Victory. I told y'all, the second he got linked with Bray Wyatt, what was going to happen. He's in that Braun Strowman position in 2018. You're not allowed to win. Daniel Bryan's shadow ban from the Royal Rumble continues. Just like it was last year. Just like it was in 2000, what was that? 2014. It's crazy, you know. I don't get it, but it continues. Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, WrestleMania, be there.
Twice in a lifetime.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know what's next for him. I don't know what's next for AJ Styles either. But anyway, I guess we move over to the Women's Rumble. I mean, really to talk about is, like, you know, 3 figures. It's Bianca's run. It's Shayna, and it's Charlotte doing. Do you remember what Charlotte even did in this Rumble?
Laying outside the ring.
Yep.
I don't know.
And
go ahead.
Beth Phoenix also getting just busted the hell open.
Oh yeah.
Looked up like halfway through the match, and the back of her head was bloody. Did not see that happen. Although I saw like a replay on Twitter this morning, but in a live action, it did not come across.
Oh, I saw it because those things are mic'd.
Oh,
those ring posts are mic'd. So she's up on a turnbuckle and she's battling with Bianca, and all of a sudden you hear the clank and you see because her head just hit the back of it. I'm like, okay, so she'll be fine. And next thing you know, you just start seeing like, oh, I see the red with the blonde hair. Okay, she got busted open, and then like her head gets soppier and redder. It's like, oh, she has a legit gash on the back of her head, and like I thought and you can see like constantly the refs like talking to her, and I'm like, she got. I mean, obviously there may be a concussion, and that's probably what they're really worried about. But I'm like, if they think it's just a flesh wound, then fuck off. She's fine.
Yeah.
Like, but whatever. She did a really good job. And oh god, I forgot. There's one thing we definitely have to talk about. All right, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second. Let's finish talking about the three biggest parts of the Rumble. What do you think this possibly means for Bianca? Nobody has an answer?
I have an idea.
I think there's what I would like it to mean, and there's what I think it means,
okay.
And one is a lot better than the other.
Okay, so what do you think it means?
Absolutely fucking nothing. Like, do you think we're gonna see her just go on some run on the main roster? Do you think we're gonna I would love it to be like the start of a star-making run, but I just don't trust WWE, especially coming off of a main roster show, to use this momentum effectively.
Right, but like she's next for a title.
She's next for Rhea, right?
Rhea at Portland. So I'm thinking like I'm not talking about like, yes, it does absolutely nothing for the main roster. I mean, mostly is for you to be acquainted of. Oh yeah, remember the girl that was like beating the shit out of Carmella and threw her into the trash on that November vs. SmackDown. She's also awesome in the ring aside from this feats of strength. For whom she comes up to the main roster eventually. But I meant as far as taking that towards NXT, where they actually, tell stories that begin and end in transition. So that's what I really meant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it means a damn thing. Pretty much why everything Tom said. It's like she's still on NXT. She's gonna get fed to Rhea Ripley the next takeover. She probably should have already got called up.
Yep.
But if they call her up, I mean, unless somebody's getting out the way, I don't know. Like, you would think she would be able to slot in on SmackDown because that division is a dumpster fire. Hence, having to push Lacey Evans as your top babyface. And Sasha Banks is like a goon underling for a underwhelming Bayley right now. And you would think there's a spot open for her right there, but look, man, Vince McMahon doesn't have no trust.
You gotta see it before you believe it, and I don't blame you. I get you.
Yeah.
Lacey Evans is a babyface?
Exactly. Someone that has changed nothing about herself, how she presents herself on Twitter and everything like that. My man has his dinner ready right now, and women don't like that. Yeah,
Greg, I love that your reaction to Lacey Evans being a babyface is literally everyone in the world's reaction to the idea of Lacey Evans being a babyface. Like, wait,
when did this happen?
They're doing what?
Yeah, they turn her babyface.
Why?
Because Bayley's a heel, and there's only room in WWE main roster for like one feud, and it's for the title.
Oh my god!
Unless it's like doing stuff with men, like what's happening with Lashley and Rusev.
That's worse, but
it's much worse. I don't disagree. I was just pointing it out that like that's when they have something else for you to do besides like being in the title picture, or that's what they do. They
All right.
I take that like it's always some love interest stuff. Like, for example, like what's going on the other end with like Otis and Mandy and Sonya is like, you can get TV time. Either you have to go for a title or
go for
be involved with a dude.
All right.
I think I just did I think I just did the funniest thing I needed to do on Twitter in like a couple days. So, off topic. Carl Sheeta was like, please tell me about your city. Temperature, foods, sightseeing. I'm in Cleveland this week. I send her the hastily made Cleveland tourism video.
Have y'all ever seen either one of those videos?
I have not, no.
Okay, they're from like 2007, 8, 9. And it used to be so funny because like this is like a couple years before LeBron bolts for Miami.
Oh, no.
And like there's two videos, and it's basically a hastily thrown together tourism video for the city of Cleveland. And it's like, has this like, you know, happy song. It's like, come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. Come and look at both of our buildings.
Wait, I think I know what you're talking about.
Eat some
food that's prepared near the street.
Yeah, eat some food that's prepared near the street. And then, like, you know, it's like the city's been under construction since 1968. Our economy's based on LeBron James. Don't go to East Cleveland or you'll die. A certain section of our town looks like a Scooby-Doo ghost town.
Who the fuck still uses a payphone?
Yeah, we have payphones on the street. Who the fuck still uses payphones? And like they're saying it while people are singing this and that like. And like eat some food that's prepared near the street, like saying like that. There's also they'll say some line about like, yeah, like our river catches on fire. They show some a train on a train track, and it's like those are jobs leaving Cleveland. Like it's just like, and these are over 2 videos.
Buy a house for the same price as a VCR.
Yes. It was just, oh my god, they were the funniest fucking things.
I hope she watches that.
I sent those into the Social Suplex chat for y'all to
check that out next.
Yeah, like they were just killers, all-time killers. And like at the time, like I remember when LeBron left for Miami and they had the first game in Cleveland, I remember like making my Facebook profile to it. That's how long ago this was. Like your Facebook profile and how old I am. Like your Facebook profile picture was like important. Like I changed it to like the picture of like the come to Cleveland or whatever else. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was like the end was like, you know, it could be worse. At least we're not Detroit. We're not Detroit. Yes. So it turned into like I ended up putting up like it was like Cleveland. We're not Detroit. Like off that was like a graphic on the video, and I remember like screenshotting that and made that my profile video at the time. Like when LeBron went back to Cleveland for the first game, I was like, it was so fun to like bang on this Rust Belt shitty weathered city. That's the shittiest weather, and like people are leaving out of that area like in droves year after year after year. It's just like I'm such an asshole, but whatever. So what were we talking about? We were talking about wrestling, right? Is somebody listen back? Is somebody listening?
I'm watching that right now. Who knows? You might even see this guy. Here's the place where there used to be industry.
Yes. So, let's see. So,
I accidentally hijacked. We were talking about Lacey Evans, and I was shocked.
Oh,
I was ready for anything but that, I guess.
Yeah, I was like off topic. I just did some like ridiculous on Twitter.
For Carl, she's gonna be like, "What?
What is this?"
Yeah.
We asked Kenny to explain it to her.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, the Lacey thing. Like, I mean, I hope I don't know. Like, she seemed like somebody's put out there to be a challenger, and she lost. Like, they pulled the tights for her, but it's like, man, we've seen what those kind of losses are for the title match. Like, they have moved on from her as far as being she's someone to just fill a spot for now until they get to whatever they really want to do at WrestleMania. And I honestly do not know that seems like a pre-show match. Whatever Bayley does seems like the pre-show women's match. Like, it seems like it's destined. Unless Charlotte goes to SmackDown with Andrade and they swap the mid-card belts. Like, that's about it.
Do we have any thoughts on Edge? Because, you know, it's,
oh god, yeah, we keep forgetting about fucking Edge. Yeah, I'm glad that Edge is back, or doing whatever he's doing. You know, this is a dude that, like, it was taken from him. Like, he comes, it's almost like he comes through the curtain at WrestleMania 27, and they're like, yeah, no more, you're done. So to see him back, like, that's cool and it's inspirational, and it makes you wonder, like, what the possibility is for other people. You know, this is obviously a thing where, like, it's not a matter if but it's a matter of when it comes to pro wrestling. That someone's going to get injured is an inevitability. Yeah, I mean, but I just hope that he has some quality or some creative and quality control, or he has some creative control so he can provide some quality control for whatever TV they put out or whatever they put out as a program to build to WrestleMania with presumably Randy Orton, because Edge ain't Edge. You hear him talk on the podcast, like, he's clearly someone that gets it. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that he adds to making, you know, compelling television.
Hey, and if y'all happy about Edge being back, make sure y'all go send a thank you tweet to Tony Khan.
Well, you know, it's interesting you said about creative control, and I had this unfinished thought I was thinking about. Mm-hmm. Is if I remember a long time ago, it was like early 2000s, they made them all get rid of their agents. I'm not sure if I don't know if you guys remember that. It'd be interesting if these guys got actual managers that actually, like, old wrestlers like Stone Cold's representing Edge, like, behind the scenes. And Vince gives him a script, and Stone Cold just crumbles and goes, "No, we're not doing that." Like, they almost need, like, help like that to like stop them from getting just garbage, because they can give Edge garbage, but if he has creative control and he can push back, I mean, he probably will push back. And there's some guys that get around the garbage, like Daniel Bryan. Like, no matter what garbage they gave him, we loved him. He was still amazing. But, like, if they actually had, like, real managers that would, like, be like, no, we're not doing this.
And I think with them, if they go the Orton route, it's going to be really easy. It's going to be like kind of like how Randy Orton, AJ Styles kind of was last year. Like, we got all this, you know, old history to build upon. I'll put you back in retirement. Why are you, like, your wife works for this company? I could go mess with your wife. You know, they got a million different angles they can go.
And also, it's as far as Greg's point, like, yeah, you know, especially, you know, one would think that, and especially, or hope and think that, especially with the Batista thing last year, like, clearly someone was saying, you're not going to come out here and give me bullshit. We're going to keep it fucking simple, and we are going to get to WrestleMania, and people will be energized by it. And, like, Edge can do that. Edge is a better promo than Batista was. But you look at how well that program worked, and it's like, yeah, like, Triple H is going to have this match go 3 times longer than it probably should, but it was a fun build and a you know, mostly scatterbrained ass build to WrestleMania.
It at least wasn't convoluted.
Yes,
it was just, we just got to it. Like, okay, they're gonna fight. Cool. We'll wait for 3 months. We'll be good. We got it.
Right.
One note on Edge, and James, you mentioned earlier, like, not knowing what the next step is for AJ. Is it possible that AJ versus Edge was the plan? Because, I mean, we got the full OC in there. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, AJ obviously got hurt and got thrown out prematurely, but it was building to the full OC and Rated RKO in the ring together. And then AJ got hurt on that spear bump, and it looked like actually walked over to Edge specifically and was like, all right, throw me the hell out of here. Is it possible that was the original direction?
Maybe. I don't know. Could be. I mean, I would rather see AJ versus Edge than Orton versus Edge. I've seen a million Orton versus Edges, right? Like, that was, I mean, as somebody that I keep showing my age on this show about, like, how devastated I am by Kobe Bryant, and then also talk about what else were we talking about? Talking about, like, the 2000 you know, the hastily made Cleveland tourism video, right, from like a decade ago. But yeah, like, as someone that missed that era entirely, like, I relied so much on what was available, like the YouTube videos of pay-per-view matches that were up, and I would go through and ain't nothing like going through the part 2 of 4 of some fucking match from Unforgiven 2007 or whatever else, like for you to truly appreciate the WWE Network in all its glory. But like while I was doing a lot of that, and Rich was also doing a lot of that too, over the years to try to contextualize like some of these guys that we just flat out missed on.
My DVD collection is massive.
Like Edge was one of those dudes. Is like, I stopped watching after WrestleMania 2000. How the fuck did this tag team dude that was doing this goofy comedy stuff become like a legend?
I can tell you because I was there during that time.
You see the SmackDown 6 stuff. You see like him and Eddie Guerrero doing a hardcore match, or doing a ladder match that wasn't even a ladder match. They're just doing a no DQ match with a ladder and doing spots off the ladder because they're both insane. It like you see like obviously the Lita and Matt Hardy stuff, and then like the feud with Cena, the Rated RKO stuff, like the feud with Undertaker, and we end up getting towards the end with the Jericho stuff, and you see like Shawn Michaels as well at times. Like you see how we got here, and like that is a dude that like consistently put out quality television.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't think he's going to come back, especially after hearing the UK guys. I think it's Inside the Ropes or Between the Ropes to do the podcast.
Inside the Ropes.
Inside the Ropes. They had him in like while the Becky ascension happened, right? Her rise, and he mentioned that like they advertised him for SmackDown 1000 in DC. And I know why it's DC. I remember it's DC because that's when Batista cut that incredible promo. But he mentioned that like they advertised me for SmackDown 1000. He was like, I had no idea I was showing up to Washington, D.C. What do y'all want me to do? And they wouldn't answer. And he's like, well, I'm not coming unless you tell me what I'm doing. And then he pointed out that like, all right, we want you to do what was his talk show?
Cutting Edge.
Cutting Edge. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Do Cutting Edge with Becky, and we want you to put you in that place of like, you were so driven and your drive's going to turn away like the people that you care about, and at the end you're going to have all these accolades or whatever else, but you're going to be empty at the end when there's nothing, there's nothing after in your afterlife of wrestling. He's like, I need you to tell me what I'm doing or I'm not showing up. And that storyline was like to play into like trying to further turn Becky heel, even though against the wishes of everyone that likes watching their TV, or in the crowd. And it turned out that like they tried to get the line about the neck, and it didn't work out. And it ended up popping the crowd, and it just made Charlotte look like even more like just an unsympathetic person, and it didn't work. And then they eventually pivoted and said, "Fuck it, we just have to push Becky as a babyface." So, to have that person have that kind of restraint to say like, I don't want to come back unless you're gonna use me for something important. We need more though. We need more Edges and Batistas in the world of professional wrestling to tell Vince, no, I'm not doing this dumb shit. I ran through your hoops before. I'm not going through it again. I fell for banana in the tailpipe. No more.
Yeah. Or I go to AEW.
Yeah. Okay. So apparently, like when he did that spear at in Toronto for SummerSlam, apparently he got the clearance since then.
Yeah, Ed's been out here having for months trying to keep it under wraps, but we knew what was going on. Like we read the reports in the Observer like months ago. He was negotiating with AEW, and then WWE found out, and they were like, "We can't be having that shit." And then magically, Edge's neck was repaired.
Oh yeah, but what I will absolutely say is, shouts out to WWE for having somebody that was quote unquote uncleared. They do something physical, and then they're actually cleared for real, as opposed to New Japan when they go out there and just let Shibata go out there and do that shit with Kenta, and then like we never get a match. It was just for heat. What the fuck?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, so. Okay. do we think that Edge is going to Saudi Arabia?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Red RKO versus whatever mid-card heels we can find.
Riddick Moss defeated Cedric Alexander on main event.
Excuse me?
Riddick Moss of NXT defeated Cedric Alexander on main event.
Is Riddick Moss still doing the Riddick regimen?
No. Not from what I gather.
Oh, for those that don't know, because he's a Largo Looper guy, Riddick Moss is this buff body dude. He's fine, and he was doing a gimmick like earlier last year where he was basically a personal trainer.
Did he jump? I remember he was with Tino Sabatelli. Was he also tagging with Dan Matha like this past year?
Yeah.
Yes, Outliers.
Yeah,
I think.
So he's just Christ. Oh yeah, he also fucked up Kenna's head, right? Before he left NXT.
I don't really remember.
Or messed up his neck, like right before. Yeah, like right after Kenta came back for something.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that Riddick Moss.
Yeah.
I had to remember who it was.
It is good that is what you know him for.
Yes.
Yeah. He beat Cedric Alexander
on Twitter.
Say again.
Go ahead, Greg.
He beat Cedric Alexander, Riddick Moss.
Yes,
apparently so.
Wow.
What were you saying?
Cedric Alexander walks out. If you ever see his likes and his requests,
Cedric, go be with Swole.
Yeah,
go be with Swole.
he seems like he's not long for whenever the contract is up, he may be in play.
I don't know why. I thought he was happy being in WWE. Welcoming back Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I ain't forget. Yeah. All right, so I think all right, so we got to talk about these other matches on the Rumble because now we have ran up an hour and a half of time so far. But between the Kobe thing and this, thoughts on The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan, Tom?
I mean, I said this last night. It felt kind of like a post 2017 Brock match in certain ways, in just that, like, all right, we know Daniel's not walking out of here with this belt, but we're going to get some damn good hope spots out of it. And The Fiend probably isn't going to do a lot, but there's going to be some stuff that you see, and it's like, all right, yeah, cool. That was cool. But it's just a hard time building suspense when you know who's walking out with the belt the second the bell rings.
Yeah, like, he took a lot of punishment in that match, and that may carry the match for a lot of people. It just, to me, it just felt like, okay, they're to paraphrase Hulk Hogan during the Yapapai Indian strap match promos, like, yes, like we are seeing the bubbling pink meat, but but I don't really care. Like, I'm not, I didn't get invested in that. I just thought that, like, it was like the next goofy thing to do with him. Like, the crowd got into the end the crowd got into whenever Daniel Bryan mounted offense, which is like really saying a lot about, like, the effectiveness of The Fiend. That, like, the crowd sits on his hands, kind of bored, not really knowing what to do until, like, the other person does something. But food for thought. But yeah, what other matches were on the card?
Becky versus Asuka.
Oh, that match was really good.
That match was really good.
What were your thoughts?
The one thought I had was, I don't know how Becky kicking Asuka in the stomach made her head whip back so that the mist flew up into the air and then fell down onto her face. But I suppose we're just gonna admit that that's wrestling physics and move the hell on.
Yes. It's funny to me because, like, me and Rich watched Stardom a lot, and Kagetsu blows mist, and, like, I've seen her get the mist thwarted in much the same way a bunch of times. So for me, it's like, I saw people, like, praising the spot as if it's like something super creative. It's like, nah, like, I've seen it before. In fact, it's funny, like, a week ago it happened. Tam Nakano's, no, I'm sorry. In fact, like, hours before, or probably 12 hours before this Royal Rumble, Like, Kagetsu got the mist thwarted in a similar fashion before this even happened. Obviously, you know, tape delay, whatever else, but like this is something that is normal. But whatever. But I thought the wrestling in the match was really good, and it reminded me so much of their match from last year. It's just like these two can go together, can just come together and wrestle, and like on that card with the Royal Rumble, with motherfuckers just hanging on the ropes and doing, you know, getting their shit in until it's time to get thrown out by Brock Lesnar or Bianca or Shayna, or, you know, this goofy strap match. Like, it was so refreshing to, in the middle of a wrestling card, to see professional fucking wrestling. Like, to see exchanges of holds in a struggle between two people trying to kick each other's ass. Like, it was very refreshing on a 4-hour show of professional wrestling to see professional wrestling. So I will always, so for me it was a bookmark match, or notebook match. Like, I think I gave it 3.5. So like for me, I was very happy to see that. I'm trying to think what else. Oh God,
yeah,
damn it.
You know, okay, we have to talk about it.
Hold on, because we jumped around a lot. Before we leave the Women's Rumble, because we already left it, we got to talk about this fucking abomination that happened in the Rumble. Santina Marella. They did Santino from the 2000. I guess the WrestleMania 25 pre-show battle royal. They ran that back. I don't know why the fuck they run that back, but what are y'all thoughts on it?
I think my initial reaction was that Corey Graves popped louder for Santina Marella than he did for Edge on commentary. Yep. Corey Graves literally, Santina comes out, you hear Corey Graves yell at the top of his lungs, and then Edge comes out, Corey Graves says nothing until Edge is in the ring, at which point Corey Graves says he should not be in there.
Oh my God, this fucking guy.
Yep.
Oh. How is somebody that's that talented, like how is somebody that is that talented the worst? How did this happen?
Oh yeah, like it's not long ago that we were talking about Corey Graves, like, yeah, he's a fantastic commentator.
NXT Graves was great. First year on Raw, Graves was great.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Like, why? I don't understand why. I understand Vince is motherfucking you every 30 seconds in your ear on the headphones, but like, how hard up are you for this job for you to say, I'm just going to do whatever the boss tells me. I'm going to do my job worse and make the job less enjoyable for the listeners at home because I want to protect my fucking job. Like, I get it, but like, when it comes with that, and then it turns into like what he's become on social media, like he's just like,
yeah,
like he has to be top 10 like most unlikable personas or whatever else in all of WWE, and it's like,
oh yeah,
it like, because he also thinks he's being so sharp by like trying to blow the line. It's like, okay, so you're trying to blow the line, so now we really think you're actually an asshole. Don't really help, bro.
It's working the opposite of how you want.
And the fact that this guy Santino in recent years has come out as like a known,
thank you,
as a known transphobe.
Yeah.
And then coming out here and doing this thing, and it's like, wow, you all trying to make us remember this era that we do not want to remember.
Right. I did not know that. Damn.
Yeah. And then like, there are other things that are like abominations in that Rumble, like Kelly coming back. Like, watching, it's so funny. Like,
was she any worse than Molly Holly?
Was she worse than Molly Holly?
Yeah, Molly Holly was out here. Woo!
Oh, she was concussed though. We think she's concussed.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, whatever. Like, but the thing with me is just like, it's so interesting that I am now being known as the women's wrestling enthusiast James Boyd, when like,
is you.
When in 2011 we got back into wrestling, like the women's wrestling is Kelly, and it is the drizzlingest of shits. and I just want her off my fucking screen. It was literally piss break wrestling, as people call it or whatever else, and like to get NXT and to get Paige. And like, great, there were other stuff that like I liked in NXT or on the main roster at the time. Like I liked Caitlyn and AJ Lee's feud or whatever else, but like it was so few and far between. They clearly did not give even half of a shit. And to see where they've come now, and then like to see like, oh, they're bringing back Kelly for a nostalgia pop, even though she's whatever. Like she's only there for a couple spots, no harm, no foul. It just triggered me. So that's a me problem. But to see like the Santino thing is like, oh my god, like what is wrong with y'all? Like y'all just wanted to drop Jinder from the women's NXT title, and now you're doing this shit. It's like, do y'all want to be progressive or not?
They don't.
They absolutely don't.
Like they want the clout for it, but they don't want to actually do the work that comes with it.
Yes. And
like the work is like, don't be fucking offensive, you assholes. It's that was just like a headache to watch and sad to see. Okay, so now we got to get to it. The opening match: Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin in a Falls Count Anywhere match that turned into. It's so funny. Like we talk about the evolution of wrestlers or whatever else, and like you see the clear evolution of the Usos from when they were, colorful island boys to like people like just like realistic tough dudes that fly around or whatever else, and for them to be like reverted back in a way to like being like the dudes that would run out to help John Cena fight the Wyatt family. It's like great, whatever.
And they got them haircuts too.
I didn't see the haircuts.
I didn't see the haircuts.
You know why I couldn't see the haircuts? Because they shook the camera so goddamn much that I couldn't notice anything. Wait till you see when they start fighting out like out by the hard cam stuff, by production stuff, the production tower. It is so Blair Witchy. It's like, what? Why? I know why, but why would you decide to do this? This is choice.
Yeah, man. Hey, so like, you mean to tell me there was another no rules Baron Corbin Roman Reigns match that wasn't good? Because mind you, I didn't see this.
Oh, when I say this thing was not good, it was not good. There was a porta potty.
I would like to
listen, Rich. There was a porta potty that
Michael Cole called it a structure.
I didn't catch that.
Michael Cole called a porta potty a structure.
It was on wheels. Like there were a row. There was a row of porta potties like it was a goddamn Lollapalooza, right? And then the one that on the end so happens to be on wheels. He wheels it out. Roman puts Corbin into it, wheels this fucker out, and then tips it over. And as he tips it over, Corbin comes out. There's nothing on him. He's as dry as he was coming out as he was coming in. And I thought to myself, okay, so you had Roman get dog food poured all over him like a jackass. You had him get hit in the head with a can of dog food as he whooped his ass at TLC. So his revenge on Corbin should be, you got some shit on me, I'm finna get some literal shit on you. Corbin comes out, just dry as a bone. And then it made me think to myself, like, but he's the heel, you should embarrass the heel. And then, like, I remember him somebody saying something along the lines of, like, there shouldn't be shit that's kind of lowbrow, whatever else. I guess it wasn't lowbrow like in the summer 2018, just like less than 2 years ago when you had Kevin Owens come up looking blue when he's getting bullied by Braun Strowman, huh?
Yeah, when in the hell has WWE cared about lowbrow?
Right.
Like they are lowbrow. Like they embody the lowbrow.
It is
they bathe in the lowbrow.
It is professional wrestling. It's not high art. It's not pop culture. It's guys pretending to beat each other up.
Well, unless it's Kenny, the beautiful pro wrestling that he describes.
Yeah, well, as he puts out passive-aggressive videos against his former employer. Anyway, so they basically end up brawling on top of one of the dugouts, and then Roman ends it by spearing him on the dugout for the win.
Cool.
30 minutes. Oh, there was also a spot where, during the Blair Witch stuff, where, like, Corbin Goon assembled, and then the Bloodline came out. They start fighting, and then it turned into a spot where they end up on the other end of the tower. And I remember, I'm calling it spots. Like, I've watched so much good wrestling. I've watched so much good wrestling over the weekend. Between watching 4 episodes of NXT, watching Stardom, watching Worlds Collide, and then getting to the first match of this, and like, I'm calling the spots left and right, and Jamie and Zach and second Josh is just like, you're ruining this for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, once they ended up fighting by the tower, and they end up on the other side of the tower, and then like they're separated, and like once the other two people start fighting, and they completely like lose focus and track of Corbin and Roman, and then on the other side of the tower, and we don't see one of the Usos, I'm just like, and one of the other Usos on the floor fighting 2-on-1, I'm like, okay, where is the other Uso finna come jump off of? And sure enough, 5 seconds later, incoming Uso. I was just like, okay. I was like, WWE, either, like, yes, I was going to say either but yes, clearly I'm watching too much professional wrestling. But they're also predictable and lazy.
What was this feud about?
Oh, do you really want to know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dog food, or he's calling himself the big dog and he got upset about it?
After they came back from Saudi Arabia for the Halloween show, there was a meeting, and from Raw, there was a meeting. And out of that meeting, Dave Meltzer was given bad info that Seth Rollins gave some fake rah-rah speech to try to inspire and rally the troops. And this is at the time of peak Rollins being WWE guy. So, Meltzer got that info and ran with it. And then it turns out it was wrong. So, from there, that leads to Seth Rollins turning heel, becoming a slow burn heel by being a bad guy that thinks he's a good guy. And thinks he's actually carrying Raw in the right direction by being a caricature of that portrayal of being a fake Raw guy. That's why he's the Messiah now. And then on the other end, you have this funny thing about locker room leadership between Corbin and Roman Reigns. And the whole thing is about Roman thinks he's the locker room leader. He's not the locker room leader. So what is happening is the heel ends up assembling a squad of roster wrestlers to help fight his battle against the babyface, who gets his ass whooped for months until his cousins come out of, presumably, suspension. So, like, Corbin is in theory right. Like, the people flock to him, but he's the evil asshole, while Roman is the loner getting his ass whooped until his cousins come and save him after he gets his ass whooped for months. And it's like, this is bad storytelling. Don't you realize that you're losing the total plot? If it's about, first off, who in Vince McMahon's zero-sum game, the world is bastard. It is filled with bastard. I'm blanking on the analogy. Oh, I'm sorry. It's people aren't candy, right? Like, they don't have soft centers. Like, the world is full of bastard covered bastards with bastard filling. That's Vince McMahon's worldview. And that's what he's portrayed on his television for months. It's all about everybody being ruthless assholes to get to the top. And if you're a jerk, so be it. You can be The Rock and go and bully Kevin Kelly or Coach or Michael Cole because you're awesome because you're a winner. That's Vince McMahon's worldview of what stars are. So when you have the locker room leadership, it's like, who gives a shit? Right?
Yeah, I don't know
sounds
why
like the roster
I don't know
doesn't
why
care.
any of us would care. Yes, and the roster does not care.
Because they're not involved. It's just like, I like how you call him Corbin Goon, but you have his goons, and then you have like Roman's cousins, and everyone else doesn't care. They're just doing their own thing.
Right. Well, I mean, that also is a subplot within the Survivor Series SmackDown roster between Mustafa Ali and Gable, with, him, Corbin fucking with them, and then, like, Roman telling them, man, plant your feet and fight back with this asshole. And then, like, that led to, Roman getting him eliminated in Survivor Series. Like, so there's been some stuff, just not as much as you would hope for this thing that is about, like, the locker room. Is like very few people are involved, and like Roman's outnumbered when he's supposed to really be the actual leader without saying he's the leader, which is what's supposed to make you like him. It
sounds like one of those segments where you should have, like, when they have the invasions and they have the whole roster come out behind someone. This is kind of like a moment where it actually kind of makes sense to have everyone, like, interested. Because if the roster doesn't give a shit who the leader is, I don't care.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but it just sounds...
No,
right.
They're underthinking it. They always are underthinking it. So, yeah, I believe that's the entire Royal Rumble card.
Well, I'm going to dip up out of here then, because I did not watch Worlds Collide.
Dude, at this point, now that we're an hour and 40 minutes into the show, Worlds Collide is going to have to get it another time. Like,
get it like the Red Cross.
Yeah. I mean, because all these matches ultimately are exhibitions. Like, the Walter or Imperium versus Undisputed Era was awesome. DIY versus Mustache Mountain was awesome. The Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley match was a letdown and just another bland women's match that could have been on TV and not actually meant for the level of Worlds Collide or a takeover. What else on there? Oh, the Cruiserweight 4-Way was awesome as well. And what was the other match I'm blanking on?
Devitt versus
Ilya.
Yeah, a really good match. Is there anything you guys want to add to me running down that card in super quick fashion?
I just think some of the matches were pretty one-sided. Like, Toni Storm got stomped by Rhea. The Mustache Mountain seemed like they got kind of... It felt like DIY kind of ran it.
Yes, they did. And I would say that Undisputed, like, they kind of had to play that game because of the Alexander Wolf injury.
Was that real? Because I was watching and I was like, is he really hurt?
I mean, the way they were communicating and scrambling early on, I would believe that he was actually legitimately, like, just taken out. Because, I mean, they threw the X up quick.
Yeah,
and they were pushing Bobby Fish away, and he was walking around. But then later on, all their spots were perfect. So,
yeah,
like, Undisputed Era is amazing.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing.
Oh yeah, I think the thing is, like, eventually it got to a spot where they could figure out how to do it all on their own. But I think with WWE, if something takes forever or if something's not quick, that's how you know it's not real.
Gotcha.
Like, like when they did the Becky and Asuka spot in their match where, like, he's hemming and hawing on whether or not to stop the match because, like, Becky may be concussed. That's how you know it's not real. Like they overdo. Like, there is no sense of urgency to the actions that happen on screen.
Like a Cody match. Like when he was throwing up the X when he was fighting Aldis, and then DDP and you remember that match?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
The ref does the X, like, right away, and they just
hold on. I don't remember, and I don't disagree, because I don't remember. But say whatever you're gonna say, and I'm just gonna sit here. Go ahead.
Oh, that was it. It's just I just remember that the ref immediately did the X, and then like we had like 5 to 10 minutes of shenanigans with DDP and what's the guy's name that was with Aldis? He used to be like a terrorist.
Muhammad Hassan.
Yeah, like he was always being a terrorist in WWE.
I'm gonna say it was a terror. Like, wait, what? Oh,
Not in real life.
You're talking about All In, right?
Yeah, I think it was All In. Yeah.
Yeah, the NWA Championship match. Yeah.
They did that X right away because people were talking about it from other stuff, and it was kind of in poor taste a little bit. I think because like the X should be real, but I think that's what you were talking about when it's overdone.
Right.
And it's like in your face.
I think my favorite fake X was when John Cena looked dead into the camera after Zack Ryder got his ass hurt by Kane. He looked dead into the camera. He goes, "You see X?" Like he
throwing up DX.
like at that point in time, like I wish I could find the video of him putting the X, looking dead into the camera with the X. Like he may as well have been like listening to like Exhibit X and like it's just like X. so shitty. Yeah, I guess that's all for the weekend. I mean, I can go through some Stardom talk because Kagetsu had a retirement match on or Sunday morning or whatever our time. So, Rich, you want to throw to it?
Sure thing. And shouts out to the folks we ran into at the New Japan show that said they are listeners of One Nation Radio as well as Keepin It Strong Style. I didn't catch your names, but shouts out to y'all. But I guess there's only one thing left to do. Hit the music!
Okay, so I ended up watching the end of the Korakuen Hall show. The highlights are Tam versus Kagetsu. It is... I don't think I've ever described a wrestling match or a post-match thing. Like, that match was great. I'd give it 4 flat stars, probably. And... Not probably. Like, yeah, I'm somewhere between 4 and 4 and 1/4. Match ends. Tam wins. And then, given the history of Tam used to be in Oedo Tai, they lost a faction battle where, the last person to get eliminated has to leave the faction. And Tam lost, and she had to move on in Stars. She after she beats Kagetsu, she says, I'm sorry that I may have not turned out the way you thought I would, but like I appreciate you letting me choose my own path. And then it's actually a callback to the promo that Kagetsu gave her after she got eliminated. He said, like, it's up to you to choose your own path here now. Like, I can't do anything for you. Like, you're out the faction. I hope for the best. And she says, like, I'm glad that I came in as, because Oedo Tyler heels. She was the heel manager. She comes in and is like, I'm glad that I came in. I came into Stardom as Black Tam Nakano, and I come out of it on the other side as his babyface or whatever else. And then, like, Kagetsu says, like, you never disappointed me. You chose the right path. There's all the emotion. It's so beautiful and happy. Like, all Tam Nakano stuff isn't working out. And then there's also the Utami and Kagetsu white belt match. Utami she blades. She blades in like the first act of the match, and it turned into like the Cody situation where Cody got busted open against Jericho, where like, okay, one was on purpose, one was an accident, but like it's still the same issue of this person starts bleeding, and then the match keeps going, and then this person bleeds less and less and less, so that you're just like less into it. And from that moment on, it's just like, oh, this match has no juice in it. The crowd is dying. Oh no. So, like, it was disappointing because, like, their Grand Prix match, I think I gave that match 4 stars. I love their, I have to go back and rewatch it, but, like, they had a kick-ass Grand Prix match, and this just didn't work. And then the tag match between B, Jamie, and Momo B, Jamie, and Jungle and Konami, they had a kick-ass match. They went shorter than I thought they were going to go, so it only reached like 3.5 status, but it was really good. And then I guess we can just move on to Kagetsu's last match. It's her tagging with Mayu Iwatani and tagging against former tag team partners of Jungle Kyona and Momo Watanabe. They had what I think is the second best tag match I've ever seen in Stardom. And I'm not a person that likes their Stardom tag matches, 2-on-2 tag matches. A lot of them turn into into a mess because there's so much of person on the corner goes and fights the other person in the corner, like other parts of the ringside area, or people are trying to wrestle in the ring, and then like they're constantly just running in to make saves on each other for 2 counts, and it's like, okay, we get it, like fuck off. So like this match is awesome. And at the end, Kagetsu gets gifts from everybody, and it's like, it's funny to see like that Observer report of like management or the wrestlers in Stardom being at odds with Kagetsu and Hazuki's, like being, you know, the thoughts of her being a taskmaster and Kagetsu being like the being likened to Bill fucking Watts of all people. But at the end, like they all give her gifts, and before that, like she cuts a promo and talks about like you understand the reason why I had you, Momo, and you, Jungle, in this match with me. And I felt like this is time for you. This is a place for you to showcase like what your value is to this company, because I'm paraphrasing, because like clearly things have changed, or things are going to change. And it's funny because like we've had retirement things like Kyrie leaves for Stardom. Jungle, everybody cries. Jungle doesn't cry. She's one of the people that doesn't cry. Hazuki leaves, or Io leaves, Jungle doesn't cry. Hazuki retires last month, she doesn't cry. In fact, she does this weird exchange thing and whatever else. She's saying this stuff, and Jungle starts tearing up, and he's like, wow. So at the end, everybody gives gifts. It's kind of funny because Queen's Quest, they give Kagetsu her honorary Queen's Quest Kagetsu mask. And then Stars comes behind them, and like they have an honorary Kagetsu Stars mask for her, and they're like, it's total coincidence. And then they end up giving the Oedo type board and sign it, and they give that to Kagetsu. And then like at the end, she takes all the pictures and everything, and then like all the roster, they all get in a circle and they all bow to Kagetsu as on the way out. And it's almost like, yo, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what, they told Meltzer, but whatever that story was, that is not it. Like there was a love in in this retirement that like flat out was not in any of the other ones I saw, like in a long time, or since like Kyrie left. And that was like the first major defection in 2017. So, yeah, I'm gonna miss her. She's an awesome wrestler. I thought she was the second best wrestler in the company. She had an absolute classic with Mayu in the Christmas show or Christmas Eve show. Yeah, like so I'll link some of her matches from the last year or so in the description for you to check out. Like she's an incredible wrestler, and that's the end of her in Stardom. Like she has her own retirement show she's going to do where she has a retirement match with Meiko Satomura. I'm trying to figure out how to get a hold of that because that's going to be a fucking banger and a war. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, man. Sounds good, man.
Yeah. But I want to give a special thanks to Tom and Greg for coming on to the show on short notice to help pitch in, and then also two for sitting there quietly as I went through, I don't know, Stardom for I don't know how long just now. I don't know if that was 5 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever it was, but I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Honestly, thank you for having me. This was a fantastic time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was fun.
All right, so that's the end of the show. Be sure to rate us. Sorry?
Oh, I'm gonna attempt to lighten up the mood. I found some on Twitter. It was like a thread. Y'all think Jesus can hold Kobe? So, I'm gonna go ahead and disappear into that.
Oh no!
Oh God!
It's never good when it starts with Twitter.
I just want to know how Jesus is guarding Kobe in the Air Jerusalem ones. How is that?
So,
I got Kobe.
Please tell me this is an image thread.
So, on that note, that's the end of the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're you guys are not helping me in this show at all. Okay, that's the end of the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this. Be sure to tell the people about the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Be sure to check out our friends at powerslam.tv. If you are a fan of independent pro wrestling, have over 5,000 hours of footage from across the world, just enter the code Social Suplex and you'll get your free month's trial. Go to Pro Wrestling T / Social Suplex and check out some of our Social Suplex Podcast Network merch. And be able to, and also be sure to check out the other shows on the network. On Sundays, we normally have this show, One Nation Radio. On Mondays / Tuesdays, we have Keepin It Strong Style. On Wednesdays, we have the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. Every other Wednesday, we have Roman Watch Your Shit. On Thursdays, we have Get in the Ring. And on Saturdays, we have All Things Elite. Thanks for listening. Later.
You're welcome.